We are just getting started with the biggest bull run ever, and this is Simba. Welcome back to the Lions Den Crypto. We're going to document this, right? Day by day, we're going to document the biggest bull run ever, and this is going to live in the history of the internet. Now, taking a look at the crypto bubbles today, we're seeing some green, right? We're seeing hype, of course, one of the favorites. You guys already know hype, staying hype for hype, right? We've seen it be green for consecutive days now. It just keeps running up, just keeps running up. And of course, we're seeing the likes of Whiff, Dog with Hat continues to rise as well. Surprisingly, see Litecoin. Litecoin is doing well. Sui is doing well. But yes, I know we're kind of in a forming some supports for a lot of these major altcoins and meme coins. But man, I'm telling you, things are looking beautiful, and we're about to start seeing some crazy numbers. Now, to kick it off today, let's actually take a look at the fear and greed. So the fear and greed index right now, we a couple of weeks ago or a month and so ago, we were all the way down to the red, right? There was extreme greed in the markets, but now we're starting to lean all the way to the towards the green side, the greed side, right? As we start to see tokens become green, and we're seeing 30, 40, 100% gainers. So this is a really good indication that we're going in the right direction. And also for the alt season, right? We're still leaning towards the Bitcoin side, but slowly we're coming towards the middle, and soon we'll be in the full-blown alt season. So keep your eyes on. You don't want to be here when it's full alt season, right? You want to be here before it gets there, because this is where the good buying opportunity and the good price points really are. But with that said, let's jump into the Bitcoin chart, just because Bitcoin is what really leads the crypto market, right? Everything else is lagging from there. But yeah, kicking off Bitcoin, let's take a look at the weekly chart. So Bitcoin, of course, just beautiful, man. Look at this green right here. This green is the 50 moving average. So as you've seen, we've been holding tight to that 50 moving average, right? And we're looking pretty. Now, dropping down to the daily, we're so close to reaching all-time highs for Bitcoin, right? We're getting closer and closer, and we're just about 5% away. Again, like I've said before, once we break that all-time highs, we're really going to start seeing some ridiculous things happen for the crypto market. Like this is some of the best buying opportunities, though. Worst comes to worst, we might retrace down to this major support at about 91K. But at this point, man, the way things are looking, we're about to bust through, right? Let's move down to the lower time frame to kind of look at this base that Bitcoin has really started to form. Right now, we're forming this base between 105K and 100K, right? It's either we're going to burst to the upside or kind of burst and start doing some retracement. But at this rate, man, we're just looking so beautiful. We're looking so pretty. We are looking so freaking pretty, right? Let's take a look at Solana and see how Solana is doing. The Solana ecosystem is absolutely exploding, right? Let's look at the weekly chart. Solana is just beautiful. The way Solana moved up the last bull market was absolutely insane, right? Coming all the way from about 24 cents and just running up to 200 and just like $253 was it was so good. It was disgusting. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we had that FTX collapse. Actually, we're going to talk about FTX in a little bit. If you guys got caught up in FTX, stick around, because we're about to talk a little bit about what's going on with FTX, especially good news for the people that got affected by that. But yeah, like you saw, like, man, it was, a lot of people thought Solana was dead when the FTX collapse really happened, right? And it dropped all the way from $253 all the way down to $8, right? This was some good buying opportunities for some super chats, right? And again, right, when I see a token really reach and retrace down to that 50% fib level, whew, that's the golden zone. So it went over here. And this was really the good time to buy, right? And now Solana is just really on an uptrend, right? We're kind of retracing a little bit. Let's just go down to the lower time frame, the daily. Yeah, I think Solana is going to do some phenomenal things, right? Now there is some resistance on the 4 hour at about $180, but we're kind of heading towards breaking that soon. We'll soon break that and really start to head to all times high. So stick around. I think we're gonna do phenomenal. Of course, we have to talk about hype. Hype, my friends, look, getting in on hype at this price is almost like getting in on Solana, right, at around, let's say, $27, $25, right? This is how insane this thing is about to run up. as you guys know, Hype is really competing. It's a decentralized DEX, but has the speed and efficiency of a centralized exchange like Binance and Qcoin and Coinbase. Right, they're really taking a huge market share from the rest of the known exchanges. Right, it's just really, it's beautiful. It's wonderful, and they had one of the biggest airdrops for the community for people who were using them. So man, there's just so much positive sentiment for Hyperliquid. It's almost insane, guys. This is probably, if you're going to get into an altcoin this cycle, this is one not to miss. Right, this is one not to miss. And as we've seen, there was a let's drop down to the daily chart. So we since the beginning of April, really, like, it was at $9. Imagine Hype was just $9 in April, and that was not too long ago. And it was almost been like a straight line to the top, and that 20 moving average is really holding it up tight, right? And it just keeps going up and up and up. Pretty soon it will be at $30, $31, which is the next Fibonacci level, right? And if we break that, I think once we kind of reach that $30 or $31 in the next fib level, we might do some retracements down to the 61. But at this rate, this thing might just keep exploding to the upside. And there has been a nice base of support that has formed around the $23 mark, right around here, 19. Yeah, right there we go, about $23. This had the potential to kind of do some retracement, but it held up tight. So I'm bullish on it. I think we're headed to the next leg of the race, which is about $30. So we're looking good on Hype. But with that said, let's jump into some of the market making moves, some of the bigger moves in news in the last 24 hours. Now, the first one to take a look at is really MicroStrategy, right? The MicroStrategy effect spreads worldwide as traditional finance companies build the Bitcoin war chest, right? So now you're starting to see with Michael Saylor flying all over the place. He's been flying from country to country, giving speeches, whether it's in the Middle East and Europe, everywhere in the US. Bitcoin Jesus has been out here going harder than, than Jesus out here, right? He's the Bitcoin Jesus. The man is bullish. He's just buying Bitcoin at a ridiculous rate, right? He completely changed the company from MicroStrategy to now it's just strategy, and the strategy is B, right? And this is spreading like wildfire to the rest of other companies as well, and not just only companies. Right, you have the Brazilian fintech company, which bought its first Bitcoin, which was the first Bitcoin treasury company. So they're buying Bitcoin, right? You have Bahrain, right? You have Abu Dhabi's wealth fund also purchasing Bitcoin, and you have Asia, Japan. So not only are these major companies buying Bitcoin and building that war chest for Bitcoin, you also have a nation, sovereigns, right, having their sovereign funds and investing in Bitcoin. So this is looking absolutely wonderful for traditional finance. Big shout out to MicroStrategy. With that said, actually, let's take a look at how strategy is doing on the stock market, right? I think they should probably be looking similar to the Bitcoin chart. MicroStrategy, right? So I just want to show you guys the chart, and how amazing it actually is. Let's move a couple of these things. Okay, there we go. So MicroStrategy is looking really good. Since they started to buy Bitcoin right around 2020, right? And from there, that's when they actually started to make some, start to go up. Before that, MicroStrategy's all-time high was in 2000, the year 2000, right? It was MicroStrategy's last all-time high, and from there they kind of look like a meme coin, right? Just tanking, really not doing much. And then they finally, Michael Saylor, he just saw the light. What I'm saying? He saw the light like he was Moses. Right? And he saw like, oh, Bitcoin is it. That's when he decided to go full on a Bitcoin Jesus, and he went full in on MicroStrategy, just acquiring as much Bitcoin as possible. And then from there, this is when we saw MicroStrategy actually really start to make moves and start to do something, right? And now they've reached their all-time highs, and this is due to the Bitcoin strategy, right? Reason why he's changed the name from MicroStrategy to strategy, all in on Bitcoin, right? And he's also influencing a lot of these companies to do the same thing, and not just companies, also whole nations, right, are taking that Bitcoin strategy. So this is phenomenal to see. And one of the reasons why I think Bitcoin, this thing is a rocket ship. We are going. Look, people are just not bullish enough. But yes, anyways, with that said, let's jump on to one of the next major story. This one for all you guys who were bent over and for everyone that was bent over by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, that whole debacle, man, it was absolutely painful. This was worse than a whole Diddy freak off, the way Sam Bankman and FTX did the people and his customers and investors. But some good news, finally. So FTX to begin the $5 billion in creditor payouts on May 30 under the bankruptcy plan, right? So now some people will start getting some money back, right? Some money back from the money that they had lost through FTX. Now this is good, man. This actually is good because it's coming just in time for the bull run, right? So some of these people have been crying as they see the market really start to pick up, and they don't have any funds, right? All the money is gone. But now hopefully they can get some money and get back in the market as soon as possible. But the bankrupt crypto exchange FTX will disperse more than $5 billion to creditors beginning May 30 via distribution partners BitGo and Kraken. So if you were affected by this, you will most likely need to open a BitGo account and a Kraken account to receive your funds from this disbursement from the FTX bankruptcy. This move is part of the second phase of FTX's Chapter 11 bankruptcy or reorganization plan. So people already got the first phase of their money, and this is really the second phase of their money. So I hope everybody can get their money back and just be in time to get back into the market, right? And if you guys are wondering how the FTX chart is looking, I will show you. Oh man, this thing was insane. Look at this thing. Look how terrible this was, right? This was a humongous collapse. So this is when the collapse happened for FTX, right? To see this live was insane because at the time FTX was one of the biggest major exchanges. They were competing with Binance. Now imagine Binance with this kind of red candle, right? We're talking about millions and billions of dollars. There's people that have millions of dollars in that platform, right? And then poof, gone just like that. You know what I'm saying? It was insane to see, and this really kicked off the last bear run, right? You just destroyed so much confidence in people in the crypto space when a major company like FTX collapsed, and now we see Sam Bankman is in jail, right? And the last week or a week ago we were just talking about how Netflix is going to release a whole Netflix series on this debacle, right? So I'm actually interested to see that, man. But if you were in this FTX collapse alongside myself, man, you know the pain, man. Let's not talk about it. We don't want to talk about it anymore. We're gonna move on to the next story. But man, my cheeks hurt. You know what I'm saying? I had to sit on one cheek for a couple of months. The guy didn't even use any Diddy oil, right? He was just going in. It was crazy. But yeah. But yes, guys, let's move on to the next story, right? This one is pretty interesting, man. Shout out to Telegram. Telegram is one of the biggest social platforms globally. They have almost 1 billion users, right? And their token Tone has performed really well. Even despite the bear market, it was one of the very few altcoins that was going up, right? Because it has so much utility to it. Having close to 1 billion users and people were using Tone just as a currency. It's almost like Telegram became its own digital nation with its own currency, and that was Tone. It was being used for apps, it was used for payments, it was used for all these services right inside of Telegram. And this was one of the reasons why the co-founder was getting really bombarded, right? They were just attacking him, and you remember his arrest in France when he went to France, and Durov got arrested, right? I think one of the major things was due to Telegram and the cryptocurrency behind it. But anyways, with that said, a tone-based NFT market launches as a Telegram mini app. This was created by an anonymous developer going by Taylor Darden, and he launched Market, a new tone-based NFT marketplace right inside of Telegram, right? The Market works as a Telegram mini app for trading digital collectibles like gifts and stickers. So people now are able to trade NFTs, right? And also not just NFTs, just anything digital per se, whether it's sending people gifts, sending people stickers, right? So Tone or Telegram is really creating its own ecosystem, right? They're actually a good example of a digital nation, because once you have a currency, right, and these users are basically civilians of a nation, right? It's becoming its own digital nations where people can do commerce and business, right? And once you have a marketplace to sell digital items, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? What is the difference? So look forward to the Tone and the market, and just keep your eyes on Tone. I think they're doing phenomenal things. I think they'll surprise a lot of people. This also makes me think of what could potentially be with X. Right? Imagine X coming up with its own currency as well, just the same way that Telegram has. Right? It would be absolutely insane. A lot of people say the native currency for Twitter or X is gonna be Dogecoin. Woof woof. I'm one of those people, right? The Doge father might just do something crazy. The Doge father might just do something crazy with Dogecoin. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But let's take a look at Tone and really how they have been doing. I think Tone has been doing really phenomenal. Again, they were one of the few tokens that were really doing well during the bear market, while a lot of them really were crashing, right? So let's take a look at Tone. They really debuted in the last bull run about 2021, and they came from about 40 cents and really ran up to $5, right? And Tone was one of the few tokens that actually reached and surpassed its all-time high during the bear market. So he got a lot of users, a lot of traction just due to this. But again, he has such a huge user base, right? Huge user base that it's easy to see Telegram just go to ridiculous market cap, right? And now it's just with the release of this marketplace and these Telegram apps, these mini apps inside of Telegram are really starting to building all this commerce, right? They are a digital nation, right, with their own currency. So this is phenomenal to see. At this level already, I think Telegram is going to do phenomenal. Right, they're doing phenomenal. Now they did break down and kind of lag and fell below this major support at about $4. But once they do break out from this resistance, right, I think it's gonna go to the upside. There's just a lot of bullish momentum for Tone, just even based on the amount of users that they have, right, and these Telegram apps that are really starting to be strong. I think they're gonna do phenomenal work. So keep your eyes on Tone and kind of the projects and things that are being built around that ecosystem. All right, so that's that. Now I know we spoke about this yesterday about Launchcoin and the Believe app, but this whole internet capital markets thing is really starting to explode and take off, right? The internet capital markets explode as companies launch products on Solana. So there's Vinecoin. We have an example of Vinecoin, right? Vine was the original TikTok before TikTok, right? It was really going off with these short videos. I'm not exactly sure what happened to that company, because I remember Vine was so awesome, but the company maybe it was just too early into the market, right? Because TikTok just came and took that over with Instagram as well. But yes, Vinecoin was an example of a coin that was attached to a product. So was Jelly and also Dupe as well. And companies are launching Solana tokens as a way to market and fundraise their projects, right? And you're starting to see this as a growing trend. Now there was Pump That Fund, which was mostly just meme coins. There wasn't anything behind it other than just community and just like a narrative. But to see companies come out like Launch, right, or Believe app that's really more tailored to applications, right, having their own token, and this being a form of fundraising, right? I think this is beautiful to see. So I think this is I'm bullish on this. I'm really bullish on this, right? So this is the Believe app. It's available for the iOS for now, right? You guys should definitely check it out. So yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. And again, their token is Launch. Let's take a look at Launch, and they did phenomenal numbers. If you are on Twitter, you saw the chatter that was going on. Twitter is the ultimate alpha for this kinds of moves, right? This is, since April or May, like he just really started to take off, right? Going from like 0.005, USD and just running up to 35 cents, right? It was one of the biggest movers that we had other than some random meme coin, right? It actually has a utility, right? Now it's looking good. I know we mentioned this token yesterday, that it probably had topped off for now until we find the support, and that's exactly kind of what it's doing. People are just taking profits when we see these kinds of runs. People are going to take some kinds of profits, and I wouldn't say this is the right time to jump in. I would probably just wait a little bit for it to find a nice support before I get into this token, because I do believe they're builders, and they're building a product for builders, right? So I believe they're gonna get a lot of mass adoption for what they're doing. Their ethos is really really good, right? Looking to fundraise real builders and real projects onto the blockchain. I think a lot of their customers are actually going to be Web 2 products. Those nerds out there using ChatGPT, Cursor, and all that to build all these apps. There's a lot of people using coding with AI and just creating all kinds of apps, but it's very hard for them to get some kind of funding, right? And this is what that platform really presents to them, right? It presents them that means of getting access to capital by just, you have your product, showcase it to the community, right? They create a token around it, and if people believe they like your app, they believe they believe no pun intended. People believe in what you're building, and you as a builder, right? You're able to fundraise money, right? And acting like like how Pump That Fund has a bonding curve, right? In their platform, there is you have to once the token reaches a certain amount, right, funds are released to a founder, not to a founder to continue building. Not only that, they also have a 50-50% split on fees. So a founder actually gets revenue share, right, for people trading their token. So the combination of having revenue for the fees, split revenue for the fees, and people trading your token, and also having the ability to get released funding to continue building. I think this is beautiful, man. I couldn't be more bullish. I couldn't be more bullish on it. I'll definitely be looking for a nice support and jumping into this token. I think they have a bright future. Big shout out to the team, man. They're building an excellent product, right? Because we can only have so many meme coins. We actually need to build some stuff, some real shit on the blockchain. Come on, man. Come on, man. But yeah, shout out to the Believe team and Launchcoin. I think they're doing phenomenal work. Yeah, now another one. This story was super exciting. Now I don't know if you guys, for all the gamers out there, you guys remember Maple Story. Maple Story is like a 22-year-old franchise, one of the oldest MMORPGs in the game, right? So it brings a lot of nostalgia. I played Maple Story. I think I was in middle or whatnot with my friends, but it was so much fun, right? But Maple Story and game launches on Avalanche with surging NXPC token, right? So Maple Story is the first crypto entry in the long-running RPG franchise, and the Avalanche game token and NFTs are seeing a huge interest. Now, Avalanche is a blockchain which really is tailored towards gaming, right? And they're just, man, these guys are really phenomenal, right? And to see that they acquired Maple Story, or at least have Maple Story building on their blockchain, is extremely bullish. And Maple Story is on the rank of like World of Warcraft. You know what I'm saying? That's how big this game is, especially in Asia. It's one of the biggest franchise and well-known franchise. It brings a lot of nostalgia. Now they did have a free mint, and this free mint just completely sold out very quickly, right? It's one of the biggest launches, right? The long-running game franchise Maple Story has entered crypto with Maple Story N, which is now live. A pre-launch free mint was the biggest ever for the Avalanche network, according to Avalabs. Now, the platform's NXPC token surged in price after launch Thursday, making it one of the most valuable gaming tokens. So this is phenomenal what these guys are doing. They're doing a great job. Phenomenal job, right? I want to play this game. I want to play this game because just to bring back the nostalgia. Now let's take a look at their token, right? Kind of see how it performed. It probably retraced as once everything launches, right? The first early people usually take profits. So okay, there we go. So they launched. Currently, right now, they're sitting at about let me see. Yep, total supply 1 billion, market cap. Yep, so they went all the way to $2.9, and now, yeah, these guys are doing phenomenal, right? One thing that I kind of wanted to show as well is also the marketplace that they have. So you can kind of compare this to Axie Infinity, right? In which you can kind of trade and sell your in-game tokens. You guys know Axie Infinity, right? So I think we're just starting to see the beginning or major gaming and gaming titles start to come to the blockchain. I think this is going to be a huge trend. We know that gaming is the future of Web3, right? Web3 is essentially the digital age, right? And gaming is one of the biggest things. So look, imagine having Grand Theft Auto, right? Having tokens for Grand Theft Auto and being able to sell and trade them with a real currency. If Grand Theft Auto releases its own token, this will be the biggest thing ever, right? And Fortnite as well. World of Warcraft, you're talking about those kind of games, and they are a real world community and like a real world inside of a world, right? There's people that spend literally 24 hours in those games, right? And now they'll be able to earn, right, and be able to trade and do commerce, and that can actually take this money that's earned from these games and actually bring it back to the real world to buy groceries and do all that commerce. So I'm looking to this kinds of things. I think this is a great trend that's happening, and yeah, crypto and Web3 is huge, man. These major games should really start to adopt it, and to see MapleStory, one of the biggest franchises and oldest franchises, to really jump in. It's phenomenal, right? And coming to the Avalanche was also a good choice because they tailor to the gaming. So awesome work. Now let's take a look at Avalanche to kind of see how they are doing chart wise. All right, let's take a look at MapleStory starting at the weekly chart. So there we go. So Avalanche performed, they kicked off same as most of these tokens right in 2020, right before that bull run really kicked off, and they rose, right, coming from about $1 and really touching, wow, imagine going from $1 to $147, man. Come on, man. It's absolutely insane. The good thing that I saw as well was that from its all-time high, it did retrace to that 50% fib level, which is the golden zone. This is where people eat, that golden zone, man. I'm telling you. And it did come from there. It did make a nice bounce from there, from that a nice support that was formed. Yeah, coming up, touching that next resistance and really coming back down. But I think it's now starting to go up to the upside, right? It probably dropped down to the daily. We're starting to make higher highs, right? High lows, high highs, high lows, and we're most likely going to start going towards the major resistance. So Avalanche is going well, especially if they keep bringing this major gaming onto the blockchain, right? Onto their ecosystem. Is going to do phenomenal. Right now, another major story that I kind of wanted to share. Let's take a look at this. I thought this was very, very interesting. Right, we're seeing states start to get their hands, especially these pension funds, start to get their hands on Bitcoin. And a lot of them don't necessarily have the regulations to buy Bitcoin, but they're doing it, in a backwards means in the sense of buying MicroStrategy. So we have 14 U.S. states have reportedly combined for about 632 million Bitcoin exposure through MicroStrategy, right? And this is the likes of Arizona, California, right? Colorado, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland. So we're seeing all these states, all these pension funds coming into Bitcoin, and they're doing it through MicroStrategy. Probably one of the reasons why MicroStrategy is just, ballooning and going to the sky, right? So this is great, man. This is great to see that some of these old folks, really start to benefit from the rise of Bitcoin, which is phenomenal, right? I think these people that are going to retire in the next couple of years, if they stick around, they just need to stick around until Bitcoin reaches that 1 million, a couple million, and they're going to retire just fine. Those pension funds are going to be juicy. They should actually up the amounts of BTC that they have, right? So that was really, really good to see. Another cool story, some stats. This is coming from Top 7 ICO, and this is really showing top exchanges liquidations in the last 7 days. So in the past week, a total liquidations reached about 2.7, almost $3 billion from long positions, and 1.65 billion from long positions, and 1.07 from short positions, right? So those people that were longing and still lost money, they probably were playing that short game, right? But for these people, I don't really feel bad for the people that were shorting. The bears got put to sleep. The bears absolutely got put to sleep. But as you can see, looking at these major exchanges, Binance is really leading this, right? Next is Bybit and OKX. So this is very interesting. All this is telling me is that Binance has a lot of degens, right? Taking those short-term trades, especially for the bears, the people that were shorting. But yeah, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. Things are looking continuing to look really, really good, right? Um, Continue to look really good. Look forward to BTC. BTC right now, as we talk, looks like it's making its way to the upside. It's so close. It's so close to that all-time highs, guys. It's so close to that all-time highs. I think we might just get there by the next couple of days, if it's not tonight at this rate. God damn it. But yeah, guys, much love to everybody. Keep stacking. Take a look at some of your favorite altcoins and even meme coins, right? We're getting to that point where you can almost just throw a dart and boom, explosion. Here we go. But yeah, guys, I'm here to document one of the greatest bull runs ever. I hope I can go back in history and say, like, man, damn, Simba was talking about Bitcoin at 104K. Oh my God, now Bitcoin is about like $10 billion, right? It's going to be phenomenal. Guys, God bless. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Much love. Bye-bye.